Hey there. So this video is going to be all about kind of a launch checklist for a business. All right. So down below this video, we're going to be able to go ahead and download the launch checklist as well as some of the materials that I'm going to talk about throughout the video. So this is a basic outline of what we go through with our business partners to start a new business. All right. So the first thing that we always need to do is just pick a company name. You know, that's always where we start. It's choosing a company name. So there's a few recommendations I have for choosing a company name. My first recommendation is to make sure you use the word painting or painters in your company name. All right, and some people try to get kind of fancy with it, and there's not like necessarily a wrong way to name your company, but you know, because the brand, your company will get out there and get known from your marketing efforts. The name itself doesn't really do a lot. You just need a name. The only thing you want to avoid is names that are too common. All right, so like Pro Painters or something. You just want to go on Google. When you come up with a company name, go on Google and type your company name and your city, or your company name and your state. All right, and you're going to be able to see if that company name already exists or if there's a ton of other painting companies already listed for it, just to get an idea of the competition with that name, because you don't want your customers referring you to someone and then that someone goes and searches your company name on Google and finds someone else. All right, so you want to make sure that your name is unique. The other thing I like to focus on is something that's local, that feels local. So here in Fort Collins, I named my company Foothills Painting because we're right nestled in against the foothills from here all the way to Denver. So I can expand across like the most popular area of all of Colorado, and Foothills Painting is like a local reference. All right, and then out in Kansas City, it's like Great Plains Painting. All right, so that's our name out there. So yeah, so I'd recommend trying something local and just, you know, kind of play with it a little bit. Don't make it too long. Don't make it too many words, and make sure none of the words in your company are hard to spell. All right, because you don't want people having a hard time just finding your company. So you choose a company name, and once you have a company name, search it on Google to make sure that a bunch of other people don't already have it. The next thing you want to do is get a logo. Okay, so once you've selected a company name, which before you make the logo, I probably should put this in other order, but before you get the logo, go and try and register it with the Secretary of State. Okay, and the reason you want to register with the Secretary of State first is just to make sure that the name isn't already taken. Just because you don't find the company on Google doesn't mean someone hasn't already taken it. So once you select a company name, go to the Secretary of State and you can search for a company name. So literally search your state name, Secretary of State. It's like Colorado Secretary of State. And you could even add in register a business. You go in there to try to register the business. All right, so it should be, in most states, it's pretty inexpensive to register the business. Some states are a little pricier. I know in Texas, for example, it's a little bit more expensive to register the business. So there may be other ways you can kind of work around that. You might talk to a couple friends of yours who have someone in your area who kind of knows kind of how it works. But anyways, you go to the Secretary of State, register the business, and then get a logo, okay? So when you get your logo, there's a few different ways to get a logo done. You can ask like friends, family, you know, post on Facebook, say, hey, is there anyone who's good at graphic design that can make my logo? Or you can jump over to a few different websites. One is Upwork. That's upwork.com, upwork.com. You can hire freelance people from all over the world. So you can find someone pretty cheap to make you a logo there. You can also go to 99designs.com. That's 99designs.com. That's another option. I think it's a little pricier. And then another option is Fiverr. So that's the word 5 and then rr.com. So Fiverr, that's another option. So those are a few options to get your logo done. You can get it done pretty cheap, you know, 15, 20 bucks, something like that. You'd be surprised how cheap you can get things done these days. So that's how you get your logo. Then you want to register the business with the Secretary of State, just to have a registered entity. Once you've done that, you'll get a federal EIN number. Okay, so you go to the IRS.gov, and actually you just go on Google, search IRS, get federal EIN. Okay, get federal EIN IRS. When you search that on Google, make sure you don't click one of the ads at the top. Make sure you go to the IRS.gov website. It's free to get a federal EIN. It doesn't cost anything, but there's companies that will advertise and they'll like charge you to do it for you, but it's very easy to do. Like the same, you go through the same process you do on the IRS website. So you get your federal EIN. Once you have these two documents, print them out or just have them on your phone and go set up a bank account. All right, so you want to go set up the bank account, whatever local bank you want to set up, but you'll need these two documents to set up the bank account. Once you set up the bank account, then you want to look into getting insurance and workers' comp. All right, so getting insurance and workers' comp is a pretty easy process. You want to just go on Google again, search for local insurance agency, contractors insurance, maybe post on social media or message a couple friends like, hey, do you know anyone who provides insurance or any contractors? You can probably get a reference. Typically, insurance agencies they'll have specialties like auto insurance, life insurance, or contractor type insurance. And so once you do get insurance, what you're going to want to get here is $1 million in liability insurance and $1 million per occurrence. $1 million in liability insurance, $1 million per occurrence. That's what you're looking for. It shouldn't cost you more than like $150 a month. It should be relatively cheap. And then you can also get a workers' comp policy, and that's going to be usually a little bit more expensive. And so you've got a couple different options here with the insurance and workers' comp, but absolutely get insurance. Now, as far as workers' comp, you can find a subcontractor who already has their own workers' comp. So that's one option. Another option is you can not carry workers' comp. It's just, in some states, that's illegal. And so you can get fined if you get in trouble. It's kind of a risk you might take. Or you can wait to get the workers' comp until you've booked a job or two. So if you're in a really tight spot financially, because I know some people are, and I know that's why you can start a business, you've got to be creative, and you've got to hustle. And I'm not saying you should go and produce jobs and actually run your business without these things. But what you could do is you can go and begin your business and go do some marketing and sales and just be honest with people, and tell them like, look, I'm just getting started. I take a 25% deposit, and if you guys work with me, I'll knock 20% off the price because I know you're taking a chance on me. I really want to work with you. And what I'm going to do is before we start the job, I will show you my proof of insurance and workers' comp before we start the job. I just need to get the ball rolling, and that's part of what I'm going to use the deposit for, is to get my insurance and workers' comp up and running because it's not cheap, and I'm just starting my business. And I'll even put in the contract that I'll give all your money back if I don't have this, if I don't get this. So you can, that's an option that you do have if it's starting to get steep for you. Okay, so when you're talking to your insurance agent and getting these two things set up, ask them about licensing and the licensing requirements. They should have at least a little bit of information to point you in the right direction as far as what you need to do for licensing in your area. Many states don't even require licensing, so it's no problem at all. Other states have different requirements. Some are really expensive, some require different amounts of experience, and it's kind of similar thing here. You want to look into the rules, the regulations, talk to the government office, and you can always find a way around it. You can find someone and you give them make a little agreement with them, hey, I'll give you 10% of my company profit for the first year if you can help me get the license because you have experience and I don't. And you can work an arrangement out with someone or you can find another business, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's a freaking great business to be in, and there is a creative and savvy way to figure out a license in every single state. All right, so you can find someone who already has a painting license, find someone who already has experience, find someone who meets the requirements, make them some kind of offer and deal that they don't really have to do much for you, and they can get a big return, but you get your license. All right, so if you run into that, feel free to shoot me an email or something if you got some ideas, but start by figuring out the rules and regulations, and once you know those, you can kind of figure out a solution to them. And don't be too intimidated by it. It's not a huge issue. We figured this out everywhere, and we're usually not the ones who figure it out. We have our business partners figure it out. We've never had someone who couldn't figure it out. So, but talk to your insurance agent, and they'll be able to help you too, because they want you in business, because they're getting a commission on all the insurance you buy from them. Once you've done that, you want to set and create goals. We're going to do that in one of the next videos. And then you want to get a website. I strongly recommend getting a website. It adds a lot of credibility and professionalism, and you want to get your website now so you can start building traffic towards your website and building reviews and all that kind of stuff. It's going to make a difference. All right, so you have a few different options. The first option, which is kind of the most old school option, is to hire, go online and find a website development company and hire them. They're going to charge you through the nose, though. I've heard people pay $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a website. It's totally unnecessary. All right, so then there's another option where you can use a company like Town Square, Painter Marketing 360. There's another one that we used, Hearst Media, I believe. So I'll put these links in the resource guide. But these companies, they'll basically make a website for you, and they'll do search engine optimization for you for a fee. Now, most of these companies, I've worked with them and I've used them, and they've done a good job for me. Like, they make a really beautiful website, and they list you on a bunch of different directories, and they help you rank a little bit higher in Google so you can start to get some organic traffic. Now, the upside is they charge a monthly fee. So it's about $300 to $1,000 a month for these website companies to do this for you. And that's not bad. It's better than paying $5,000 up front, because you're getting more than just the website. You're also getting all the search engine optimization and more in higher rank on Google. That's the upside. The downside is usually with those companies, if you cancel with them, they take your site down. So you don't actually own your website, which I think is kind of bogus. A third option is you can contact me and get a referral to my guy. All right, so we have an in-house person who does all of our website development. I'm helping him build a little bit of a business as well, and he's gotten us much higher ranks than all these companies, very similarly priced, and you actually own the website. So, so if you are interested in that, there'll also be a link below for you to learn a little bit about that, or to contact us if you'd be interested in getting that set up for a website, and that's going to start at about $500 a month. A fourth option is a free option, okay? And if you're tight on budget, you don't need all those services I just mentioned. You don't need those initially. It's not where SEO doesn't pay off for a while. Like, the Google search results doesn't pay off for a while anyway. You're gonna start getting work initially other ways. So if you've got a tight budget, do a free website. Okay, so you can go somewhere like Weebly.com. Again, that'll be listed in the resource below. But that's Weebly, Weebly, and you can build your own website. It's a click and drag. It's a drag and drop. So you just like click what you want, you put your titles on, you can put pictures in and everything, and you can make a pretty good looking website pretty easily on Weebly, and you can do it for free. And then you can buy your website domain for like 15 or 20 bucks, like crazy cheap. All right, so that's literally how I started my business. I didn't pay anyone for a website for the first 3 years. It was all a free website, and it worked just fine for me. I wouldn't encourage you to wait 3 years. I would get started on that sooner, because being high on Google makes a big difference for your business. The last thing, once you've got that done, the next thing you're going to do is just make some basic marketing material. So you've got your logo, you got your company name, and I've provided all the basic marketing materials you're going to need. Examples would be like a flyer, making your contract, making your client manual, printing out your estimate sheets and estimate forms, and just get some of your materials ready to start doing marketing, sales, and production. And so that's how we go through this. So down below you'll also find this launch checklist with the resources that I mentioned. So you can start going through this checklist to get your business up and live. Very few of these things cost money. All right, so company name doesn't cost money. Your logo you can do pretty cheap. This will cost a little bit of money. This will cost a little bit of money to get started. And depending on licensing and how you want to go about that, may or may not cost you a lot of money. So you can get started pretty easily, and if you're on a really tight budget, just get creative. Like, get creative. There's a way to be successful here, and if you're running into trouble and you're not sure, send me a message. But try to figure it out, because you can figure it out. We always figure it out. I think that's about it for now. So this is our checklist to getting a business started. Hope you found it helpful. We'll be adding some more links below to help you throughout this process. Thanks. Good luck.